empty, but you can fill it with alcohol ink. Fill it with any color you want. The nice thing about this is now another tool to apply alcohol inks. Now alcohol inks, we have 24 new colors. We've just introduced the coordinating lights and brights to our earth tone palette. So now you can have lights, brights, and earth tones. You can do a lot of great things with the palette. The benefit to having a pen is that you can color all sorts of things, like you can color paintables, you can color things like gloss paper. So let me talk about how we fill it. First thing, it has two tips. It has a brush tip. This is going to be a flexible kind of a paintbrush. On the other side is a detailed tip. So you can do drawing or any sort of detail work. So to fill the pen, here's how we do it. You're going to take this and you're going to grab the base of this nib and you're just going to pull it straight out of the pen. Then you're going to take whatever color ink you want. You're going to put the nib in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds. Replace the top. Put the cap on. This is an airtight cap. Turn the pen over. Remove this nib. This one, if you have fingernails, it's okay.
So there's separate chambers?
No, it's all one chamber, but we're just helping it wick. So if you overfill this side, you'll be able to skip this step. Okay. You'll also have a whole cap full of ink, so ideally we want to do 5 seconds on each end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Replace this. And then you're going to let the pen set. And you want to let it set horizontal. Right now, the ink is in here and it's going to wick out both ends, and that's going to prime these. And once it's done, it's ready to go. Now the pens also include a white band. That's really designed that once I'm done, I'll put a little ink on, like I'll put it on a Q-tip, and I'll just go ahead and color around so I know what color this pen is. But
so we couldn't put two different colors.
You cannot put two different colors because they'll become one once they mix. So once you make a marker, it is that color. So here's some things to know about the markers that I like. One of the things is we can go in here and we can color with these any way we want. I'll work on something white just so you can see. When it comes to working on a paintable, it doesn't really matter what side we work on because we can just go in and color either side. Now if I was going to stamp on this, I would want to make sure that I stamp on one side and color on the other side. But for this, it doesn't really matter. Here's the great thing about these inks. These have the same properties of all the alcohol inks you've been selling. So everything that these do, these pens do. And that's my favorite part because I know they're alcohol pens, but those are alcohol pens. This is an ink that's designed for backgrounds. It will interact with each other. You can combine it with metallics. But now that I have it in a pen, I can do all those same things. So if I want to go in and change that color, when I go with another pen, it's going to remove that color and replace it with a new one without ever contaminating your pen. So I can go in and say, okay, I want to take that out. But let's say I want to mix the colors. You can take this, let's go back to that purple, and if I wanted to mix the colors, all I do is I swipe one across the other, and now I've created a new color. And it will never contaminate this pen. Eventually this pen will go right back to its original color. That being said, the very first pen I would suggest you make would be a pen with no color, blending solution. Because remember what blending solution does. It does everything for the alcohol ink. So by having a pen that has blending solution in it, that's going to allow me to remove color if I need an eraser. And it's not going to, it may dirty the tip, but it's still going to be clean. Once you wipe this off, this is going to go back to clear. If I want to blend a color, let's say I stamped a flower and I want to blend the petals of a flower. I can go in, where's my red? There we go. I can take this, I can touch it on there with my blender pen, and now when I color, I'm going to go from a bright color to a light color. Right? That's the easiest thing about this, is that I can then go in and just blend it out. These, we are going to have replacement nibs available, so if you dirty this up or get it too gross, you can replace it, which is really fun. So, some other things to do. Things like fragments, memory glass, things like ghosts. Let me grab some ghosts here. Like things from Heidi. You know, she does all these great little plastic shapes or things like that. If you wanted to go in and alter them to match your project, now I can go in and say, all right, I want to color the butterfly. I can go right in and I can color directly on here. let's say I went in, I wanted to add another color. I can go right back in. I can add whatever elements, same effect, or I can go in and blend this out. Take that color. While that's wet, I can go in and introduce another color. So as long as these are wet, you can go in and combine the colors. So easy. Another fun thing, bling. Everybody loves bling. I really like bling. Everybody else does. It's okay. You want colored bling? Now you can go in and make it any color you want.
Wow.
Right. So endless possibilities now of what you can do with these inks. If you want to colorize your own ribbon, go for it. So ideally, this is what I was telling people in the class, I really wouldn't expect a customer to come in and buy 48 pens. That's just not realistic. We would like that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Which is why I didn't want to release these pens as colors, because everybody has a favorite palette that they work with. They like specific colors. So they can come in, buy the pens, they own those colors, make those color pens that they want. I would probably never make a pen using a light color, because I know that if I wanted a lighter green, I would take my blender pen, touch it on a bright color, and now I can make a softer color. Unless I was always working in pastel. If I was always working in pastel, well, I'd probably do that. But this is what's fun, is these become very interactive and just enough. Yes and no. Ideally, it's for alcohol ink, but I'll be honest, I've made distress pens already. I love that.
Yes.
Yes, because now I can color on my stamps, stamp in many colors, I can emboss with it, but it's for alcohol ink. But yes, it works for other things.
So
now, it won't work, though, for mixatives, right? Because this is a pigment, it separates. So this has that mixing ball, this doesn't. So once you put it in, it's going to separate and it's not going to work. Yeah. So no, actually the pigments will get stuck in here, and it's just, there's some fun things to do with the colors. I'll show the technique again. I've been playing with it all afternoon. It's just a fun technique, something different, something fun to show with the brights. Is I can go in with these fun colors, and I can create backgrounds simply by taking some ink and dripping it on. And then we're going to blast it with some air.
Huh?
Can of air. And now I can go in and just, this is just a really, yeah, this is a fun one. Just to go in and show how to work with these bright colors. Again, it's just something different. You know, it just becomes a really cool background. Pearl dabber, and now you have glossy grind. Yeah. Yeah, then you have like a glossy white. So now we've got this background, so I'll show you just kind of some fun stamps to stamp on. So now we're just going to take it. Now when you're stamping on alcohol ink, you want to stamp with archival. Archival ink is an oil-based ink. And that's really important, because if you stamp with a solvent ink on top of this, it's going to react with itself. So solvents react with solvents, and when you stamp it, they'll start to bleed. So archival, because it's oil, it's permanent when you stamp it. So we'll stamp the splatterfly. We'll stamp with this oil-based dye.
Oil-based dye.
Yes. So instead of a water-based dye ink like Adirondack, it's oil. So oil is going to allow for opacity. It's going to be crisp. Now because it's oil, it doesn't dry in 15 seconds. You know, it's going to take a couple of minutes, or you can just take a heat tool and wave over the top of it.
Inkjet. Any printer?
Inkjet or laser, yeah.
Inkjet. That is waterproof or
That's
not?
inkjet. It's not waterproof, but you can put things like microglaze, you know, rubber wax over the top.
You won't believe?
No.
Cool. You still the printer was.
I'm going with the splatter. This is one of my most favorite new stamps. It's just a great little.
Way better than a toothbrush.
Yeah, it's great. You look at it and you're like, that's nothing, but when you stamp it, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a fun little stamp. So now this becomes our background. Just a colorful little splatter thing, something different again with alcohol ink. That's why every time I come to the show, I just try to bring different ideas, because maybe they've been in the scene.